Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I am Otto Lee. This afternoon, I'm very honored to have an opportunity to interview a good friend of mine, Huy Tran. Huy is a board member of the Vietnamese American Roundtable, a 501c3 nonprofit serving the Vietnamese community throughout San Jose, with especially the need that we have under this COVID-19 period. We really are appreciative of him taking his valuable time today to talk with us of the great things at VAR and what he's doing to help our community to better understand what the needs they are. So good afternoon, Huy. How are you today?
Doing good, enjoying the sunshine.
Very nice. Thank you for being here today. And I know you're very, very busy these days. Tell us what's going on these days with the Vietnamese community.
Well, actually, there's a lot of questions in the Vietnamese community about how to navigate through COVID-19, as is true for all of the communities in San Jose and in Santa Clara County. You know, in the Vietnamese community, though, we deal with the same issues that I think we deal with any other community, right? Our seniors want to stay healthy, stay protected. Our workers want to make sure that if they can't go to work, that they can still pay the bills. And our small business owners, they want to know how to be prepared for when they can reopen again. So, you know, those are the same issues that I think most communities will deal with. We've been making sure that we translate as much information as we can and share it. And right now, our goal has been to make sure that the programs that are available are accessible to everybody in the community.
Now, the need for the community must be very, very great these days, both from the shortage of food, whether you're talking about groceries, for some of the seniors, about just having cooked food. Going out there shopping now becomes somewhat challenging, or somewhat people believe is one more hazardous activity to do, given the fact that there's still risk out there with social distancing. Do you see that need being increased significantly in the community?
Absolutely. One of the most vulnerable populations in any community as we're dealing with COVID-19 are our elders. And so a lot of our elders don't want to go out to buy groceries or right now if they're putting themselves at risk. Aside from VAR, I'm also working with the Friends of Huy Foundation, which is another nonprofit where they've actually have a food delivery program that focuses on Vietnamese elders, because a lot of the food that's offered in the free meal programs don't cater to the Vietnamese community. Right. So the Friends of Huy Foundation has done amazing work getting food out to the elders who are less able to eat like things that they're less familiar with. And that has been one of the biggest needs that had to be addressed.
That's wonderful. So as I have also done a few food delivery, actually last Wednesday, we were out in the one of the senior homes apartment complexes and delivered some food with our good friend Van Lê. Out there in Chi Havang of a radio station there. Yes. And we brought over some fresh eggs, vegetables, some fish sauce.
Oh, that's important. That's very important. That's vital.
And then the Vietnamese ham.
Yes.
Yes. The cha hui. Yeah.
Yes. Cha hui. Yes.
Cha hui. Yes. And I think those are extremely popular, right?
Oh yes. Oh no, absolutely. Right. I mean, that's the thing. Similar to what happened, back in 1975 and into the 80s, when refugees were coming over to America, initially, the refugee camps didn't know what food the Vietnamese people ate, so they just cooked whatever else other people ate. Right. But there were refugees who couldn't eat it; they didn't know how to. Right. So we're kind of in a little bit. It's not as extreme, of course, as it was when there was waves of refugees coming into the States back in the 70s and 80s. But there's definitely a little bit of that right now in the food programs, where there's food that Vietnamese, some of our elders are just not used to or accustomed to, and don't know if they can eat it.
Right. I mean, the first week I think we tried to do that. We delivered some broccoli and carrots, which is good. But then the next week we realized bok choy would be more popular.
Yeah, right. There's definitely things that are easier to eat for folks who are more accustomed to certain types of food. Yes.
Absolutely, great. Now, regard to the community, we've also heard a couple of complaints. Now the discrimination is getting worse, and especially some of the community businesses, Vietnamese or Asian businesses, have been targeted. What have you heard about that, and what do you think needs to be done?
Well, there's definitely fear, right? I mean, there's stories across the country about how Asian Americans are being targeted because of this, mischaracterized belief that somehow Asian people generally are responsible for the virus. that has led to incidents across the country. Recently, a think group down in Los Angeles started tracking reports, and from the start of the shelter-in-place orders, the start of the at least as far as we know about the pandemic, 1,500 reports were brought in just in under a month. Right. So we're seeing a lot of that happen here too. Recently, there was news about a vandal who targeted Asian American businesses. Turns out that the vandal himself is actually an Asian American. But the fact that that happened put people on edge immediately, and they were scared that this is one of those instances. We don't know for sure yet if the race is the motivating factor for this person who's also Asian American. But the fact that we respond to it in a way that says, "Oh, we're really scared that this is happening," shows that we're on edge, right? There's people who are very scared for their own well-being because of these reports of discrimination and racism.
Right. I've attended a couple of town halls with our district attorney, Jeff Rosen, also another good friend of ours, and he has been extremely vocal about this issue. There was a public safety announcement, PSA, that was shot with various different ethnic district attorneys, Mexican descent, Asian descent, African American descent, to basically said that this virus there's no race or ethnicity when it comes to virus. It attacks everybody, it attacks everyone in social, economic, or ethnic groupings. And what is important is that we do not tolerate people discriminating or hurting or assaulting people based on their ethnic origin because of blaming them of the viruses. So I think that was very powerful. And one thing I got out of the discussion with District Attorney Rosen was that you need to report. And I think the community needs to understand that if they are being screamed at, yelled at, or even physically assaulted, these are unlawful behaviors that the police needs to be called and to raise, because until they hear it, they don't even know what's happening. And let them decide whether it is something that they could prosecute. And from what I heard, there was actually one case that the district attorney is prosecuting right now, whereby a Vietnamese gentleman was being physically assaulted at a grocery store. And this is something local right here in Santa Clara County, and that's been a couple of weeks ago. So I have a feeling that there may have been even more cases that have been generated since. But I think it's so important for our community not to be fearful, but to step up and not let this happen to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, Santa Clara County is a beautiful place. Amazing weather. We've had incredibly diverse communities, but we're also not immune to prejudice, right? And we're not immune to misguided beliefs. So yes, absolutely. And I saw the video from the DA's office. Beautiful, beautiful work.
And all it takes is like one or two bigots out there say something stupid, or driving around do something what is honking or trying to harass you, driving around or chasing around. Those are all unlawful behaviors, and we need to let the police know. Absolutely. And they would definitely prosecute it. Yeah, and I'm very, very glad to say that we live in the county, Santa Clara County, that people are so mindful of these issues and very progressive to make sure that our people are being protected.
Honestly, yes, and it's a great sentiment. One of the things that we also have to deal with is that even if people don't harbor the malintent or the discriminatory beliefs against Asian Americans, there is also another element that we have to address too as we talk to people in our communities, right? Which is, do Asian Americans owe some additional or have to take on some further responsibility for how we address COVID-19? And honestly, Asian Americans have been at the forefront of our healthcare workers. They're involved in government, law enforcement. Asian Americans are part of the food supply chain, and they're part of they're part of volunteerism. The county's success in responding to COVID-19 has been supported by Asian Americans. So when you have some folks who go out and say, "Hey, Asian Americans, it's time to step up and do more," I mean, we're already doing the best that we can, and that viewpoint is also dangerous, because it somehow says that we're responsible for the solution, despite the fact that we're not responsible for the pandemic. All right. So, and your work on this is amazing. I really appreciate you getting out there to be in the front lines as well, volunteering at VASC. and being, and going to the town halls and make sure to stay up to date on what's happening. I mean, the roles that everybody has in our community right now is to be able to share good information and have good conversations about how we can come out of this together and stronger.
Thank you. Well, I've been out there at the Vietnamese American Support Center over in Lucretia, and they have been doing this amazing food distribution program for many, many Mondays. Every Monday now at 2 to 3:30 or so, literally 600 to 800 families are out there picking up very vital food that is necessary during these very tough times. And we're talking about Vietnamese community center, but then those who pick it up, I would say approximately maybe about 80%, I would say 70-80% are Vietnamese. But then there's other ethnic groups, African Americans, Latinos, that I see them coming to the VAS to pick up the food as well. So I want to make sure the word's out there to let family know that if they go out there, all they need to is basically write down the addresses that they live, and the food will be given to them. And this is sponsored by many great groups, including Food from Second Harvest, making this happen. Now, good friend Mr. Tin Nguyen, who has been in our community for so long with Buck Knockout. So we really appreciate about that. Now, going to another area I want to talk about is the businesses. I know a lot of the areas, especially the nail salons, which is one of the largest group with Vietnamese ownership, has been hurt really badly, given the fact that this sometimes are considered a non-essential business to allow them to be open. What have you heard about that, and what should we do more about making it happen?
Oh no, you're absolutely right. So my mom actually owns a nail salon herself, right? And when the shelter-in-place order came down, there was immediate confusion among business owners, because, I mean, it's never been a case where a government order has come down that just said you've got to close down shop. So there's a lot of confusion. Of course, people are worried about how they pay the bills, how they make income, how do they provide for their families. And my own family is no different, right? But that's part of the reason why I've actually been making sure that to look into SBA programs and whatnot, to make sure that information is translated and shared so that everybody can partake in that. I'm going to do another quick shout out to my mom though for this Mother's Day, because she's actually been making these masks.
Oh, nice.
Right? She's been doing these and giving out freely because health is very important to her. She's given me like almost 200, and I've been handing them out into our community. I mean, you've got a big stash of masks. Looks like you're ready to go hand that out as well.
Once we have, it's the same as my mother-in-law.
There you go.
Been a seamstress for many years, and she's very, very, very prolific. And so these very beautiful masks that she's been making, as you can see, some are smaller, some are larger, depending on the
kids, adults,
the size of adults. And it's something that every little bit that we can do in our community is so important. And some of these I've been wearing very proudly. As well. I mean, obviously, some people will talk about, we talk about N95. I'll show you, I've got one N95 here.
Nice.
It's a show and tell. So these are the N95, of course, and these are ones that really should not be purchased. I mean, you really can't get those anymore. Offer the best protection, but at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, this is what the first responders, our nurses, police officers, people on the front line, our doctors really need those. So if you have a stash of these, please consider donating them to our hospitals. That's really important. While at the same time, there are other masks that we certainly can use. I found these, I bought them actually before the pandemic at Home Depot for cleaning out the masks. Come out these things, this is for paint jobs and whatnot. These are great, and these are perfectly useful for us. But at the same time, if you can't get those, some of these other masks that we're familiar with seeing. And then of course there's the like I said, the homemade ones. As you can see, some of the very cute designs that my mom was able to come together. So I encourage everybody to think about what they could contribute and donating these masks to friends and families in our community as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, honestly, wearing masks now, I feel it should be the norm. And the reason why we've given them out for free, and I'm sure you have, is that if we are all healthy, then we all help each other stay healthy, right? This is a collective effort at this moment.
Right. It's to have like the help me, help you.
Absolutely. I'm helping you to help me.
Protecting me and protecting you.
Exactly.
Everybody will get healthy soon.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we could get rid of this COVID business. Because one of the concern we also have seen is that some thought that by summer, COVID would go away. But apparently there have been some studies coming out saying that some of the warmer region, places like even the Philippines, where Thailand, places where the weather is very hot and humid, doesn't seem to really stop much of it. It really is through the social distancing that really made all the difference.
Very true. Yeah, it's very important that we still limit our travel and that we, we focus on just the things that we need to get done to take care of ourselves and our family, and getting some exercise once in a while too.
Good, exactly. And then let's not forget getting some exercise in, because a lot of times when we are sheltered in place so much, we're not getting enough calories worked out.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat at home all day and start gaining weight.
I know you're a military guy, so working out is very much the norm, right?
It's very important.
But actually, a friend of mine, Ash Kalra, Assemblyman Ash Kalra, actually created this Facebook group to get everybody working out. So it's like every month is a 30-day challenge.
Good.
I'm up to doing like 100 push-ups a day now.
All right, 100 push-ups a day.
Oh,
that's impressive.
I'm feeling good about myself.
All right, you got your six-pack going.
Oh, not yet. This is just the two-pack.
Just a two-pack.
Down here still a one-pack, but still working on that.
Good. Very impressive.
Yeah, well, I'm feeling good. I'll tell you that.
Good.
So.
Outstanding.
Yeah. If I can use the opportunity, I also love to talk about how we can support our homeless community as well.
Yes, absolutely, please.
One of the biggest struggles that we've discovered along the way is that a lot of the means by which homeless folks normally get food, like if they or to charge their phones or to use public facilities like bathrooms,
right.
A lot of those have actually been shut down.
Yes.
And so that has caused more struggles in the unhoused community. Some folks may think at this point, why should we worry about the homeless when we have to worry about ourselves? And again, I point back to the fact that this is a collective effort, right? We should be making sure that we do our best for every person in the community to get through this. And one, it's compassionate and it's the humane thing to do, but two, I used that before, helping somebody else will help us in this scenario, right?
Exactly.
We want to protect our healthcare system so it doesn't get overwhelmed.
Right.
We want to make sure that we protect the frontline workers so that if there's a glut of infections in an encampment or in the unhoused community, they will end up in the hospital, and that poses the exact same risk to the healthcare system.
That's right.
As our our seniors getting sick, or our grocery workers getting sick and whatnot.
Exactly.
So, that's one of the things we've been doing as well. We've been making sure that we get COVID information out to the unhoused.
Correct.
And where we can, we also make sure we supply food. We definitely make sure they get hand sanitizer and some masks, just to do everything we can to keep people healthy and to get through this pandemic.
Absolutely. And as we say, through community transmission is why we have to make sure that it is a community as a whole.
Absolutely.
Because our county, the health system that we have, the Valley Medical Center, under the Santa Clara County, even though that's our public safety net, anybody gets sick, whether you have insurance or not, we do provide that safety net so that anybody can go there. But of course, if we overwhelm the system, whether it's through ICU or ventilators, that would be bad. And the thing is, so far we've been able to flatten the curve so far. And I want to remind people, right? Flattening the curve doesn't mean COVID's over.
Nope.
All it means is that, guess what? ICUs have beds for you in case you need it.
Exactly.
Just remember that.
Exactly.
And that's not exactly the great message either,
which
means the transmission is still very much out there.
Absolutely. It's just we have to stay vigilant about this until there's a vaccine, and until that vaccine is actually openly distributed. We all have to stay on top of staying healthy and helping each other out.
Right. The herd immunity is something that we need to try to get to, but until then, we just need to be very careful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. And we got to do that by supporting each other. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming out today, Huy, and it's a beautiful day. You look at the sun, Cataldi Park, and it's really kind of sad that such a beautiful day, beautiful grass, and a spring day, that our park has to close for the social distancing to keep everybody safe.
Oh yeah, we can still come out to get some fresh air and exercise, but it is important that we, keep 6 feet apart and don't congregate in groups of bigger than 10. I've gone out to this park because I live very close. Walking or running to here and then around the entire park, 3 miles.
Yes.
Good workout.
Very good workout.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Not saying I run the entire 3 miles, I'll tell you that.
Well, you keep doing that, 100 push-ups a day, man, you'll be in real good shape.
Oh yeah, no, Joanne says she wants me to come out of this pandemic looking like Jason Momoa, but right now I think I'm still looking more like Fat Thor. Still working on that.
That's awesome. Well,
thank you for this, Otto. Really appreciate
that
you
for your good work, and please let us know. Keep us posted what we could do, and we'll spread the word to our community of how much more we could do to help everybody out to make it through this together.
Absolutely, and you're using your platform right now to capture kind of what's happening in the community and to share information, important information out with everyone. Is vital, and I really appreciate that as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Come on.
Come,